Can you see the stream now?
It still says it's waiting. Let me refresh. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so now I need to pull up the thing. Let me see. I don't know where my chat window is.
Looks like we're both paused. Oh, wait a minute. There you go.
Okay, so I need that. Where did the chat window go?
But a 15-second delay.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
That's interesting. Hello. Just getting one thing figured out here so that people can see the screen. Let's see if I can. Oh boy. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Just need to shrink it. Holy jeez.
We're seeing the yeah, the YouTube studio.
Yeah. Let me.
Oops.
Oh, whoops, I went in the wrong folder again. Okay, now let's make sure.
The live entertainment. Nice. Okay, I see the sheet. Cool, cool.
Trying to make sure it is big enough.
Hello, everybody online.
Yes. Sorry.
Peter, see you. Aunt Canoni. Hi. We're still getting the technology set up here, so appreciate you guys.
Sometimes
Hey,
technology is fickle. Okay, I think, is that good enough for you to see and some other people and anyone else?
Chat, can you guys see everything?
I know it's not super big, but it should be legible. I can read it.
They're hearing an echo from me and not on Zarek.
Okay. What about now?
Let's see. Can you guys hear me well now? Am I in hyperspace still? Hopefully not. I think we're good. Let's see. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys.
Greg says it's about the same in my audio. I don't know what it is, man. I get an echo on yours, but are you streaming the audio from the call at all? You have it muted, sir? From YouTube? Have you muted YouTube?
What do you mean? Am I muted? No. So I'm capturing my audio and I'm capturing my mic. So that should be both of us. No, there's going to be a giant Ricky for a second. Technical
See what's-
difficulties.
Okay, I'm kind of helping with chat then.
There we go. Okay. There we go. Now I should be able to have chat open as well, because that was the problem.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Yep.
There.
Do you
Oh,
run the?
why do you keep disappearing? Okay. I guess that works.
Do you? Are you running the Nightbot? Is that you?
Yeah, well, I have Nightbot set up. Okay. There we go. I think we're good to go now. Unless there's still feedback from Ricky.
Yeah. Any feedback from Ricky, guys?
I turned my volume way down, so.
Oh, so you hear me like a whisper?
Yeah, I can hear you enough, though, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for the campaign, yeah. Yeah, so I set up Nightbot so that it's going to ping our Discord server and our BackerKit page.
Nice.
Every so often. I think BackerKit's every 5 minutes and every 7 for the Discord. So.
Great.
Okay. I don't know how many people are on. How many folks do we have on the stream today or right now?
Does not say. Should be able to see that, but I don't see it. 10. So hi everybody.
Ah, okay.
All right. Sweet, sweet.
Trying to see if how many people are here. So.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. So on screen, you already see some of the cool stuff that Zarek is going to be showing off with the customer signature powers. Thank you, everybody who voted for that to be what we're presenting today. But yeah, this is our 100 subscribers on YouTube video and stream. So thank you all for everyone who's online and for everybody who watches this after. Thank you for supporting.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. Supporting a big dream of ours. So excited that you're here.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. And Bob, I saw your question. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube's slow on the updates, it looks like. But yeah, I don't know if we'll be changing the names of main and minor actions, really. I definitely get what you're saying about them both being MA for shorthand. So.
Yeah, we kind of just shorthand minor or.
Yeah, we do minor and main is how we usually do it.
Yeah.
There wasn't another good word for both that wasn't M. So.
Yeah.
But okay. So to jump in here on the topic for the stream, I don't know if we announced it really much to the BackerKit folks, but everyone in our Discord saw we have created the initial system for a customized signature powers. So previously our plan was you would get signature powers at level 15 and they would just be a preset thing just like all the other powers. And we had gotten some feedback and just kind of thought about what it would be like to make your own power. And so that's where this came from. And then the term signature just feels like it should be custom and be unique to your character, and then also be something that you have for a large portion of your career.
Yeah.
So you get this at level 6, as you can see in the little rules here. You start by getting this at level 6, which is not in the primer. So really we'll start testing this after the BackerKit campaign in the first playtest packet. And then also on our monthly subscription on our website, anybody who, we're going to launch that on Monday, anybody who subscribes to a certain tier or higher will get access to playtesting documents, and they'll get level 6 content until then. So we'll start with just level 6 being added as content for subscribers for playtesting, and then all of our backers will get access to the playtest packets that we'll do, and we'll be doing 3 different packets. But yeah, anyways, wild tangent there. Sorry. So signature
No,
powers,
that's
you
okay.
get them at level
And
6.
the whole I think
Um,
too, Zarek, signature powers themselves, we kind of, we already hand wrote out for every single power set signature powers. And although they were very significant powers, they just, again, to Zarek's point, they just were not custom,
mhm.
and so Zarek had this, brilliant idea. Let's make this early. Right, level 6 is very early in most campaigns that we've seen, we played things like that. So you can actually be a hero with your power and have something that is custom and tweaked, and you can apply your own thematics to it without us, the developers, saying, "Oh, this is the control of it, right? This is the how you use your, earth powers, or how you're using your psionics." No, here's all the mechanics behind it, and you can tell us what's the thematics of it, right? How do you
Yeah.
actually use that? And this is the effect of it.
Yeah.
So really excited to go through this and really deep dive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's I think the exciting part is that um you get to, like Ricky said, you get to make the theme, but we kind of made it between super customizable and non-customizable in that you have to select these traits. So we'll go through how it works. And this is not final. We're going to probably add some traits to the effect type traits,
Yeah.
some more interesting, unique things. And we'll talk about that when we get to that section. But so you get a number of points equal to your level effectively. You get 6 at level 6 when you get access to the system. And then every level after, you're going to get 1 extra point. You have to spend all of your points. I know that might sound like a weird rule to have, but we just want to make sure that somebody doesn't like willingly spend less traits. Maybe accidentally. We just kind of make it a point that you need to spend all of your points. And you have to have at least 1 of each trait type. There's 4 different trait types here. And then you can only select 1 range trait. So that's step 2. We'll get to that in a second. And you can only have 1 interaction trait. And then the first targeting trait, I need to make that a new line. Selection is free, and then any other additional targeting trait stacks cost 2 signature power points. So that SPP is signature power points, and we'll just use that for shorthand for the rest of the time. And then stackable traits, each one has its own limit, really. Used to have it, at least when I first had the idea, that we would just have 3 stacks max for each, but we'll see some traits here that make more sense if they can have additional stacks. So step 1, you're going to choose the targeting of your signature power. This is whether it's targeted, like you target 1 person, it's an area, which is a square, a cone, or a line. These will all cost 0 signature power points the first time you select one, and then you can add more targets or make the area bigger or the cone bigger by selecting them again and spending some signature power points.
Yeah. And just to jump in here, this is a big part of why we wanted to go the customization route, because if we locked in, for instance, your signature powers to what we thought would be really nice and really awesome, right? Essentially, what if your team needs some kind of area, right? Some kind of targeted thing. You have somebody that already does a lot of targeting, but you have no way of controlling an area.
Mm-hmm.
So these are right off the cuff. immediately something where, okay, if they go that route in their signature powers in the way that they build their super, then, over on my end, I want to go this route and I want to make it something unique and fun and to me and also helpful to the team. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So as you can see, you can stack the area trait up to 4 times. It'll start by a 3x3 unit square. And each time you select that trait again, it'll increase by 2x2. So it'll go from 3x3 to 5x5, 7x7, and then 9x9 is the last. So the biggest you can get is 9x9 with the signature powers. The stack limit is 4. We have some requirements or restrictions here in this column. So you can see if you're doing area, you cannot have an area that's also a cone or a line. And then you also can't have an area that's a melee. And we might change some of these, but the idea for if you're doing melee and it's a targeted kind of area around a person in melee, it's kind of just being around yourself. So don't want somebody to kind of waste points that way. A cone will go from a half cone to standard to wide. And then line, you can get either a 1 unit line or you can make it 3 units wide. So it's kind of like a wide laser, if you will. And then targeted, you can select, or you can get it to a max of 3 targets. And that's powerful. It might not seem like it compared to area, but that's powerful because you can target anybody in your range. So if you have 3 targets, you can have somebody, like let's say I'm a blaster with 12 range. I can target an enemy that's 12 units away, and then the other direction an ally that's 12 units away. So I can cover a massive area, but my number of targets is more limited.
Yeah. And I think too, Zarek, the really cool thing about this is, although this is numbers on paper, if you think about your super as they level up, they are getting quite stronger. And as a result of getting stronger, you're able to then go and buff this up, upgrade it further, and so on. So you can really feel yourself getting stronger as a super, both mechanically, but you also can role play that, man, I'm getting better at this thing. I'm getting stronger at being able to go and do this and whatnot, and I'm being really effective in it, and so on. So it's really, really fun to play it out in that way, that you have these options where you can really customize and tweak, and you can actually role play that experience. So.
Right. You can have it, and like Ricky said, you can choose to have a bigger area of effect or choose more targets in exchange for more power. So it can, you can increase the effectiveness in more ways than just like straight power and numbers.
Exactly.
Greg, points per level, yes. So for the points per level, it's pretty much equal to your level, but you get them at 6. So you'll get 6 points at level 6, and then 1 point every level after. So at level 20, you'll have 20 points. So as we go down the list, you'll see how crazy these powers can get. If you have 20 points to spend, these are going to be pretty epic. And then Peter, yeah, lack of friendly fire. Yes, that's one thing that's not in here. So I'll mention some of the trait ideas that we don't have down on paper yet. But for now, these are going to default to no friendly fire signature powers. And then for length of lines, it is your range, which, yes, Ant said. So line is equal to your range. So if you're a guardian and you have 4, then your line is 4 units long. If you're a blaster, it's 12. And then same, if you increase your range, it would also increase, of course.
Yep.
So then moving on to, let me make sure everyone can see this. Yeah, everyone can see the top section, right? So then here on step 2, you're going to choose the range. And this is just pretty simple. I mean, melee, it's anybody in your melee range. Self means it's going to target or originate from yourself. And so you can have an area self power. So the area would just go around yourself versus a ranged area, which is the third range type or range trait. Then you can place that area anywhere in your range. So range obviously costs you some extra signature power points because it's very powerful actually to have range. So these ones are kind of simple. The interesting interactions, I guess, are like I mentioned. Let's say you did a ranged power that's targeted and area. You could do both, and so you would target a person, and then it would kind of explode off of that person. There's some reasons for that you might want. Maybe you want to. I don't know. I'm trying to think actually. I wonder if there is even a point to that.
It's all up to, again, the play style of the whole group, I think, you know.
Yeah.
I'm playing a great game right now when everybody is basically a damage dealer, and none of them actually are melee, and so they may perhaps want to grab something like this where they do something really good at melee or do something self so they can help each other, because again they're all damage and not healing. So something like that they can now customize and tweak. It's all up to, again, what's that team dynamic look like.
Yeah. Yep. And then step 3 is to choose your interaction. These are pretty simple. It's just attack or check. Attacks, the attack trait cannot be stacked. So when you select that, it just turns it into an attack. It does not have to be targeted to be an attack. You can have a cone attack or an area attack. You would just do an attack roll and check it against every target's defense. I'm waiting for the attempt to combo a line and a cone. Okay, actually, thank you, Greg. You reminded me of one that I wanted to bring up. So you can stack targeted and cone, and so it works how, like what you're saying, where you do, you target a certain character and then it'll do a cone behind them in the nearest direction that cones are possible to do, which would be, the 4 cardinal directions and the diagonals. It's not just like place it wherever you want. In Indominate, just because that gets really hard to figure out which squares get affected and stuff like that. So yes, you could absolutely do a ranged power that's targeted with a cone. So you target somebody, do an attack against them, and then it does a burst in a cone behind them. That can give you like that extra range. So if you targeted somebody at the edge of your range and then the cone went behind them, that we will have to probably write some specific notes or explanations on how certain interactions like that work, which we'll figure out during testing. But yes, there's some interesting mixing and matching you can do.
Did we say the drive cost?
We didn't in here in this document, but they will cost drive equal to your level or the amount of power points you have, signature power points. So at level 6, these will cost you 6 drive. And they're a signature action, which costs you 3 AP as well. 3 action points, to clarify.
Yeah,
sorry.
So just for everybody, you can't spam this. You won't be able to. But they are very, very effective, though, when you do use them because of how customized they are, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something, again, to balance in another tool on your tool belt to be able to use on the field.
Yeah, and there's something that we've talked about is if these signature powers are too good, like too effective per, for their AP efficiency or their drive efficiency, then it might turn out where it's like, why would you just never use, your signature power? Why would you ever do anything else? So might put a cooldown or make some changes there, but for now at least, it's just drive cost is equal to your level, and they cost 3 AP. And then the second interaction is check. Pretty simple because those are the 2 types of rolls we have in combat. We do have a special rule on the attack. So if you do an attack and it doesn't deal any damage and it applies negative status effects, then a critical hit will extend the duration. And so we'll look at an example down here shortly, but checks are going to be more likely to hit, but they can't critically hit. And so that's why you can stack the check as well. You can increase the check difficulty. But
Yeah,
because of
plus we
that.
don't want to.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, no, you go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Basically, we don't want you to use probably your most powerful tool and miss, right? We want it to be effective still, even if somebody was able to hold a defense against it, you know? So that was a big point of that decision there. You know, it'd be terrible if that happened. So,
I see what you're talking about too, Greg. Yeah, you're talking about on like Foundry. It's hard to, you can't change the width of the cone. Yeah, that's something we'll have to fix or add. We'll see how the Backer Kit campaign does there. But yeah, like Ricky was saying, so the checks, if the target fails a check, they get half of the damage if it deals any damage, and they don't get any status effects though. So that way, that's that balance, right? They're more likely to affect their target, but they can't crit. So that's the trade-off with a check. And then for both of these, if you're targeting an ally with the power, there's no roll needs to be made. So if I choose attack, and it's a healing power, I do not have to roll an attack roll to hit my ally. I just automatically hit them to heal them. If you have a check and it has both offensive and like support effects, then that's where that really matters, because then enemies will be making checks and your allies won't, and the allies will get the beneficial effects and the enemies will get the negative effects. So to show the examples and different effects you can add, here is step 4, which is the effect traits. And so there's no real limit outside of your signature PowerPoints on the effect traits. I guess besides the stack limit, there are some traits that need to have some restrictions, and I still didn't write them down. But like stunning and dazing, we're going to restrict those. I should probably just write that now.
I'm writing some notes. So yeah.
Yeah, but we don't want you to be able to stun and daze somebody, because you would remove 5 AP total, 2 for daze and 3 for stun. And
Yeah.
so you would even negate, you wouldn't negate a boss because bosses have 6 AP, but you would negate an elite enemy. Elite threats have 5 AP. So that would just pretty much fully shut down their turn, which is a little too powerful. So we're going to have limits on that where it can't be selected with some other status effects. So while I write that, Ricky, do you want to kind of read through these first few?
Yeah, absolutely. So knocking back, again, being able to actually knock into or have the power of knocking. Signature power get into control power tag, can affect enemies, and knocks them back affected by 2. And then you see, as we go through these, all of them are about upgrading and progression, like we talked about earlier. So this increases it if you do it a second and third time, but another 2 and another 2. So you can already think about, okay, if I'm blasting away somebody, I could knock them off a tower, knock them off a building, whatever it is, right? And it just continues to grow and grow.
Yeah, or you can knock them a really far distance into a ground effect that one of your allies placed.
Yeah.
Like a fire, if there's a fire manipulator and they have their flame patch on the ground, you could use this to knock them into that if they move out of it. Or if you hit a couple enemies but one is left out, you can use this to knock them back and push them into the area.
Yeah. Absolutely, and maybe save a friend too. If somebody's on them, then you knocks it 6 units away, and that could save an entire friend from getting hit.
Yeah.
So, a good one.
Yeah, and then if you want to move an ally, you can do that with the movement trait. That one would let you whoever the target is, and you can allow them to move up to a certain distance. So if you wanted to do a range targeted power that has the movement trait, then you could allow an ally to move half of your movement in any direction, and then if you stack it up, you can increase the distance they move.
Yeah.
So
and from there, slowing the trait. So again, this is a control type power tag, and applies slowing, right? Effects for 2 turns. So yeah, if you need to slow down someone and maybe eventually knock them back, so you push them away and knock them back, imagine, right? So now they can't even catch up. And then from there, blinding, another control type. This one, you now see the increased trait cost because what blinding does. It really hinders the ability for them to be able to attack back, which always good for the supers to continue to be strategical on the battlefield. But yeah, it will blind them for 2 turns. And then buffing. So this is a really fun one, either offense or defense, and it does cost more, the trait cost, but look at what it actually allows you to choose from. Right, so if I want to buff damage mod, attack mod, or control mod, you could choose one of those and apply to, again, depending on how you change the targeting, either yourself or to an ally, and so on. And being able to then, buff yourself up and so on. And when you go to the second stack, you obviously just add in more there, and the third stack, even more of it. So very powerful, and could be something that mid-game or mid-combat, I should say, rather, that you really need that additional buff to make something happen. I can imagine Zarek said it earlier with a big boss kind of encounter where it's maybe incredibly hard. Suddenly they did some kind of special action that and prevented the hits from getting through them. If you stacked up enough attack modifier, that might actually be just enough to make that one hit that changes the entire encounter around.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I don't know if we want to run through every single effect trait here, but I think you can start seeing the idea, right? You could, for example, you could make, if we're level 6, right, we have 6 points. We could select the area trait to begin with and leave it at a 3x3 for now, let's say, since we only have 6 points. And then we can make it self, so it's around us. And then, honestly, we could make it an attack. And then we could give it, so we've got 6 points left still. And so then we could do damaging, burning, and critical hit chance if we did an attack. And so that's our 6 points. We've increased the critical hit chance. That way, if it does hit and we crit, we can double that D12 into 2D12 and make those dice exploding. And then they would also begin burning for 2 turns. And right now, how it is, you could do that even if you're an ice super. If your powers are iced, you can still give your signature burning. We might make some changes to some of these where you have to have a specific power set, but there's also some power sets that make sense with burning. Like gadgetry should be able to burn, stuff like that.
Enough focus light energy on something can burn it.
Right, exactly. Yes, focus light energy. I don't know how you would do it with Earth. Maybe you could play it off as like covering them in oil and igniting it with a spark or something. You could like clack 2 rocks together and ignite them. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's up to you, I guess.
It's up to you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's the thematic part of it. I mean, you come up with it, and why not? That makes it really fun.
Yeah. And maybe for ice, you could say you've given them like frostbite or something, and that's why they get the mechanical effect of burning, but thematically it's not fire. You could also, there's poisoning and wounding as well. So those are 2 other options if you want to apply like a damage over time effect. Real quick, I want to make sure we answer Greg's question here. So, silly inquiry and maybe getting ahead of your release with a desire for the signature power to be legit. Is there any thought to use points to have a stack of dominance or impose weakness? I think we could, but we probably would have to limit that to only 1 stack, and I don't know how many points it would have to cost.
Yeah, and to me, a lot of these, well, all of them, are related to some kind of status effect. So, it's kind of, we want to maybe play more in the status effects themselves. Obviously, critical hit chance, as a clear example, is not necessarily that, right? It's not a status effect. But somewhere around there that we do want to make sure we balance that right, because some of these status effects already give you dominance, so we'll have to balance that.
Yeah.
Frostbite burns.
Yeah, exactly. Magma. Yeah, there you go. Magma for Earth.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there you go.
Molten rock that you cover somebody in, and super strength. I guess you could just, I don't know, hit them so hard they light on fire. Coarse sand ran over the skin. Yeah, yeah.
Coarse sand.
There you go. Sandpaper burn. um, yeah, so lots of fun stuff like that. And there's some ones that we have ideas to add. So like one thought I've had is, we might call it like absorption or something, but where you remove a specific status effect and maybe it adds points or something like that, is the idea. Or how Greg mentioned earlier, I think it was, wasn't it? Or, oh no, it was Peter mentioned if you wanted to maybe give it friendly fire, but that gives you extra signature power points to spend. So that's one way that we could handle it as well, is add some stuff like that where it's a little more interesting and maybe it gives you extra power points to spend here.
I think what's going to be really cool
I'll be
is
right back.
all the examples, perhaps, that we can write into, maybe share over on Discord and whatnot. Make sure, if you aren't already, to join the Discord. We'll definitely link it here in the description to make sure. But definitely just being able to come up with all these cool different ideas. And in the play test, once the backer kit is all done and we release all this out. I can't wait to see all the different combos. That's going to be amazing. And then being able to see, like, how does it grow from there? How many other options can we add to this to make it just something fun and like community driven? That for me is important, because I'd love for the community to help out in growing that further, give some real feedback on that as well. So
Yeah.
And then to find a strong smack and burn, definitely can.
Well, wasn't there a video a long time ago? How many times do you have to slap is it a chicken or a turkey to cook it?
Yeah.
So if you slap it hard enough, there's enough kinetic energy to convert into thermal energy. So yeah.
There you go. That's
Um,
awesome.
buffing. Yeah, I mean, we might. Obviously, this isn't complete, right? So we'll see if maybe there's something where, yeah, giving dominance for one attack or something might be an option. It would probably be separate from buffing, specifically this trait.
Right.
Just because, at least comparative power, I think dominance would be better than any of these things. So we could probably make something where, a trait that gives you dominance on the attack or gives enemies weakness on the check or things like that. And then there are powers that do stuff like that as well. So we don't want this to just be able to, I mean, I guess in being very flexible, it could, but invalidate any of the other powers that we have. This is more meant to be a good kind of way to maybe add to your build and shore up some of your weaknesses or improve upon your strengths. Or you can kind of rely on your signature power to be like your best form of damage. Maybe it's something you like open up combat with. You do a ground effect that leaves, wounding on the ground or something like that. So anybody who walks through it or starts their turn in it becomes wounded, and then, things like that. So then you can use your other powers that you have in your power set to select more control-oriented things or stuff like that. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some really broken combos too.
There will be.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, as long as we balance things right, with the points and all that, and that's what obviously the playtesting is going to reveal. Just being able to have fun with it, I think, is going to be the cool thing. given all these closed in what a fire manipulator can do, what an ice manipulator can do. But now here's something that is unique to you, quite literally unique to you. You know, this
Yeah.
combination. So, and then also, it's built into the comic editor, and even I think we even reference it in our primer that somebody could have downtime to change up perhaps their skills and so on. Change up their powers, change up their etc. So being able to adjust their signature power, where it thematically makes sense between a mission or whatnot, I think that actually really makes sense. Like, hey, I've really honed this craft down. I think this is going to work better with what you do over here, in your downtime.
Hmm.
That way you're ready for the mission ahead to go and save the day, and go from there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and there could
Um,
be ones in here that I don't know, for like buffing. There's more room in buffing for maybe stuff like critical chance, where maybe the second stack you can gain only a plus critical chance, or give them dominant, like give an ally dominance on their next attack or check or something like that. There's definitely some room for stuff like that, but that could be a way to limit the dominance from just being like, oh, I just automatically give you 5 stacks of dominance on your next attack. So yeah, we would just consider things like that, like maybe buffing, like I said, says this for the second stack, you can, it says these exact words, or you can select to grant the target +1 critical chance or dominance on their next attack, and that's all it does though. So some way to phrase it like that, but there's definitely room for some extra interesting ones. Um, absolutely.
mm.
So, I guess with that, people will be able to get access to this system and the other information you need to play at level 6 by joining our membership on our website, which we're going to open on Monday. So that's how you're going to be able to get to use this pretty soon, and start testing out some broken combos. I'm sure Greg and Peter's brains are already spinning on it, and Ryan as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, side note, kind of message here is that on our website, you probably have seen some changes. We've switched website providers, so pardon our dust. But with that, it has allowed us to go ahead and create different membership and so on available there. And that allows us to actually provide some really cool stuff again for testing purposes and so on. So it's still odinskey.com, but you'll be seeing, and we'll make announcements here on YouTube, here in Discord, and so on about more things coming up as well, so that you can hop on, sign up to, and so on. So really, really fired up about that, because that just brings right away, just again, more community-led development.
Yeah. So with that, I think we can do the giveaway now.
Mm.
So, for everybody in the chat, if you want to participate and have a chance to win your free primer, you've just got to type in primer in the chat. I wonder if it will add me. So you've got to add. Yeah, it won't let us join it. Good. So just type primer in the chat, and we'll. Well, yeah, yeah. I can point. I've got a few. So, if you just type that in the chat, we'll give everybody a couple minutes here, and we'll do the giveaway here in a little bit. In the meantime, I guess, is there anything you wanted to talk about with this, or maybe you have some ideas for some additional traits, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I love it. I want to see it in the hands of the community, and kind of testing it out. Um, I'm really fired up to see a level 20 signature power.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy that's going to be. Now, keep in mind, we worked together a lot on the threats for level 20. and how that's going to look. And we know how crazy those powers get. So just can't wait for all the custom signature powers and what the thematics are for it as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and happy to do giveaways. Um, we want to do them more and more often, So this is just a really good opportunity for us to be able to do that to folks who are coming on board and supporting and watching live. So appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. If nobody's gonna put primer in the chat, we'll just have to force you guys to get. I think I can make it so it's just anybody in chat wins it.
There you go.
Instead of needing a keyword.
Yeah, other things to expect as well is that we are working really hard on YouTube. We've taken some great lessons from a bunch of our YouTube friends. Just a quick shout out to Peter from Tales from Elsewhere. But just getting a lot of great insights, input, and so on. And we're trying to come out on a weekly basis, at least one video on certain fun topics, right? Keeping the actual topics around anything with TTRPGs. So we're really fired up about that. And then, definitely as we have more community input, we want to get, what do you want us to talk about? Maybe it's signature powers again and how it's developed. Maybe it's other aspects of the whole development part of it too. So definitely going to get into that as well. It looks like the stream has caught up with the chat. So now folks are saying primers.
There we go.
I think it's like 15 seconds, Eric. So it's like
yeah.
The delay time.
Also,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if everybody. I wonder if you've been getting echo. I hope not. I turned down my gain like crazy on my microphone, and then I have my volume like where I can barely hear you. So I don't know how you would be getting feedback, but hopefully not.
Am I on your speakers? Is that what it is?
I don't have my headset on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's something like that. That's technology.
Okay. Well, that's
Looks like
5 out of 8 people.
Mhm.
Is Bob? I know there was one other person that sent a message. Bob Clark. If you're still there and you want a chance, we'll give a. I guess you want to do like one more minute here, and then we'll go ahead
Yeah.
and do the giveaway. So we'll wait till 5:48 just to see if the last 3 folks in chat want to try to win one. One of them might be my wife, Heather, so maybe she probably won't try to win one. Yeah, we got everybody. We got the 5 of you that wrote it so far. Just wanted to try to give the other 3 folks in here a chance. Everybody got a pretty good chance, really. You got what? That's Bob. Oh, that's Bob. Okay, we know Bob. We met Bob.
There we go.
Awesome. I didn't know Bob was watching. I didn't know that was the same Bob.
Well, thanks, Bob.
Okay. That probably has us at all 8 people then. So we'll go ahead and choose a winner here. Oh, Tim. Tim, you got one.
Nice. Awesome.
There we go. Tim won. I guess it's saying you need to send another message to confirm, Tim, but also we know you're there and we know who you are. So
yeah. Yeah. So
yes, Ant, we did get everybody we saw them. We were just trying to give the last few folks a minute, but it looks like